What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDoWorkHereLady. This story's called I Work Here. Yeah, on breaking and entering.
Not a native speaker, so be warned. There might be some weird grammar below this line.
Happened to me a few years back. I worked as a junior facility manager at one of the office and conference buildings of our church. I often ran late shifts preparing for the next day. Moving a couple hundred chairs is best done after regular office hours, closing down lights, windows, etc., and then secure the building for the night. Since I was just in facility management and at late shifts nobody was there anyway, I usually just wore some black army clothes to work since they are comfortable and robust, as well as some army boots, again comfy and robust, and an old field cap. You won't believe the kind of dirt you'll find atop some office cabinets and ceiling lamps. There were multiple entries I had to close down at night, and take care nobody was left in the building. Finally, I'd make my last round around the building, testing if every door was really locked, since sometimes the locking mechanism wouldn't snap properly. Unfortunately, the building was at the city center between the town hall and a police station, so it was just a matter of time before I got to know some of my city's finest. So two officers are leaving their car when they see some guy in old army clothes pulling vigorously at the doors of the office across the street and feel like investigating.
Good evening. Might I ask what we're doing here?
A bit annoyed. My job? And I'd like to be gone in about 5 minutes, so yeah, after an exhausting day, I just wanted to get home and didn't feel like being delayed by anyone. Also, Europe, so I don't have to worry about the cops using excessive force or being a bit rash to them. Of course, in hindsight, this was not the best possible answer.
Well, we'd appreciate it if you'd refrain from doing your work in front of our police station.
Me, very much missing what the police officer's getting at, thinking this is to be some kind of harassment, whilst pulling again at the door, which indeed opens. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'll be away as soon as I've taken care of this. At that moment, I reached for my pocket to get the keys and found myself harshly interrupted.
Hands where I can see them! Step away from the door!
I freeze in midair, finally realizing the situation. Now I get it. Sorry, I do work here. Seems like my looks weren't too convincing.
I don't think so. Are you daft? We are literally standing right beside you.
A sheer audacity. At least we just have to cross the street, he says while grabbing my arm and shaking his head. No, sir, I can't. I do indeed work here and gotta—
Yeah, your work looks quite like breaking and entering. So if you just come with us.
By now, I was annoyed, pissed, and rather desperate. It was past my shift and I couldn't leave with two open doors. The last one I would lock on my way out. And this late, they might just keep me overnight at the station and check out my testimonial the next morning. So you're about to just leave this door unlocked and open for everyone else to walk in? Officer 1 to 2, raising an eyebrow.
That's right. Would you just go around the main entrance and call their facility management?
Officer 2 walks away, and sure, about a minute later, my work phone starts ringing.
Take your phone slowly and turn it off.
By then, Officer 2 returns, cell phone on his ear, trying to reach anyone, as I take mine and end the call.
Hung up. I'll try again.
Some seconds later, my cell phone starts ringing again. Might I? Officer 1, totally oblivious, just gives me an annoyed nod. He is clearly too occupied by his colleague trying to get someone on the line, so we finally could leave, and doesn't put one and one together. Accepting the call. Good evening, officer. Might I finally lock the damn door as I was about to do before you interrupted me? They were rather friendly after that, and even asked me if I'd like a ride home, since the whole thing delayed me past the last metro train. In the end, they were quite nice guys, and as annoyed as I was, for they themselves were just about to turn in when they spotted me. We had a good laugh afterwards. That is such a cool story. Man, I wish they became lifelong friends, and they told us that, like, they became everyone's, like, godparents. Not the godparents of their children, no, they just became each other's godparents. Alright, this story's called I Work Security! So this has happened before, but not to this extent. So there's me. Oh my, I almost messed up there. Cooter Karen. A Cooter Karen. Little kid. Big kid. Josh. Or Joanne. I'ma cover both bases. I worked in a haunted corn maze this year. Basically, we dress up and scare anyone who walks through it. It was all Brovid safe and approved. All workers have to wear a mask, obviously, and dress up as something scary. I was dressed up as a little dead girl, but I got called a doll. Not the point. It was one of our slow nights, Wednesday or Thursday, and it was like the last 30 minutes. Now, I was tired, hungry, sweaty, and dirty as hell as I crawled on the ground and just wanted to go home. I heard someone walking towards my area, and I hid like I normally did. Now, mind you, no one is supposed to hide in the corn, pick up the corn, and especially not throw the corn. Only the workers are allowed to hide. We aren't even allowed to walk through the corn to get out. We have to follow the paths. So I hid in the corn, and I heard the corn being ripped from a stalk. You know the sound after hearing it constantly from kids and other workers taking the low-hanging ones off. I immediately stepped out, ready to blunt with the person, and see a woman with 4 kids. The youngest was probably 5, and the oldest was probably 16, 17, something like that. You can't touch the corn. Whatever you have, put down and continue on the path. If you're, "Don't tell my child what to do, little girl. Sorry, we didn't know." He proceeds to remove corn from little kid's hands. "Don't listen to her. She's just a stupid kid. I'm taking this home to cook." She proceeds to stuff corn into purse and starts walking over, dragging one of the other kids with her. "Ma'am, first off, you can't take corn from the maze. And second off, it's not gonna taste. If you don't get out of my face, I will call the cops on you for harassing me and my children." Okay, don't worry, I got the nasal spray. "Listen, lady, I've tried being nice. Remove the corn from your purse, or I'll have security escort you out." She then pushes me. I'm in a dress in the cold, so that fall hurt, and walks away all mighty-like. Big kid helped me up and apologized profusely for his mom before walking over and trying to get the corn from her purse. I had enough when I saw her smack his head and scream at him. I immediately cut through the corn. I didn't care at the moment and headed to my coworker's area. That day, I didn't bring my whistle, given to us in case of emergencies, so I asked him to follow her out the corn maze. We're supposed to follow suspicious people like kids constantly going into corn, people we think are drunk, or kids we noticed acting a little strange. Yo, that's lame. Being drunk in a corn maze would be awesome. Like they were carrying something they shouldn't be, or they were gonna screw in the corn maze. It's a weird area I live in. No, that seems about normal. So Josh followed her out, I think, so I was fine with it. Had her warning given, and then she would be off on her merry way. Nope. The siren rang for us to get out and pack up our crap. So I followed one of the paths I knew out and was instantly bombarded. I got pulled aside by security as Calvin Klein was screaming and crying about how a child was harassing her and her angels, and she had a creepy kid diddler-esque man follow her out, and she's never been so unsafe in her life, and she wanted me arrested for causing trauma to her kids. Last bit my friend heard her crying her ass off about while I was being spoken to. So security asked me what happened. They knew me as the weird worker who would scream Disney lyrics as she walked in to get ready or show up randomly in a onesie, and asked who escorted her out and blah blah. I asked her kids not to touch the corn. She didn't listen and even started packing corn into her purse to eat later. Security gave a gross look. This corn is not meant for human consumption. Please don't listen to my mom. She's just being hysterical again. Nothing like that happened except the creepy guy part. I don't know if he's a worker or not, but little kid did rip corn from a corn stalk and she was just doing her job. Mommy told me I could have some since it's free. Cooter Karen is away from us, currently crying into the owner's sweater. Josh finally walked out of the corn maze, probably helping the other guards take out trash, and tilts his head confused. Josh was wearing a clown mask and was a chainsaw guy who ran after people with a chainsaw that had no chain. That's the dude! Oh, I asked him to follow y'all out. I didn't feel safe following y'all out because of your mother, and I wanted to make sure y'all didn't do anything like that again. Josh walks over and looks at me confused. Josh usually worked with me, so I could tell his facial features by the slight movements of his body. Oh my god! He's the one who stalked me and my children! He's
probably some pervert who walks around here to kidnap little kids like the disgusting 30-year-old man he is.
Now, this woman had annoyed me to the point I wanted to hit her, but I started dying laughing, like to the point I couldn't breathe. Josh was a 16-year-old kid whose mom was a friend of the owners and several older co-workers. Cooter Karen was losing her mind, confused on why I was laughing and why the sheriffs weren't arresting me and taking me to Rikers Island.
Josh, he's a worker here, and he's 16.
Now she's going back, Wano, about how they hire human traffickers here and that we were all in on it, and they were lying until Josh removed his mask and face mask to show how young he looked. I'd gotten to the point where I was using my dress to wipe off my makeup because I was feeling gross. Cooter Karen was basically standing around, staring at all of us, confused at why nobody was listening to her, and I grinned. Well, as I stated earlier, ma'am, please remove all corn in your possession or I will have security escort you out. Or maybe your cup of tea is a sheriff. Cooter Karen is now banned from the corn maze premise for as long as I work there, and I intend on working there for a long time. Sorry for the very long post, but whoo, was it a doozy. Edit. To everyone commenting on the corn, my friends are dying laughing because that's the main point y'all keep talking about. That is an adorable story. Sounds like an amazing place to work, and you sound like a cool person singing Disney music. That's great. That's great. Christmas music is pretty great too, so if we hang out, you should sing that instead. Anyway, it sounds like that woman didn't know where she was or what was going on and was surprised at everything. This story's called,
You selling crack?
Sir, I work here. This happened fairly recently. Me and my colleagues got a good laugh out of it. I'm on mobile, so sorry for any spelling mistakes. Cast. Me?
Elevator guy.
Girlfriend.
I just started a new job in a hotel and I absolutely love it. I walked in the other day and was waiting for the lift. There were two other people there, elevator guy and girlfriend. The elevator comes down and I was gonna wait for the next one because of the whole Brovid thing.
Do you want to come in the lift too?
Okay, if you're sure. I get on and elevator guy is on the phone with his mate.
Dude, this rock chick just got on the lift. She got patches on her jacket and a neck tattoo.
What's the tattoo?
I show her and they both seem pretty impressed. Still on the phone.
Mate, this girl is like proper rock chic, covered in tattoos. Yeah, I'm gonna ask her.
He drops his phone slightly to look at me.
Hey, you got any crack or heroin?
No, sorry, mate. All I got is tramadol. I take it for my sciatica. It's prescription drug, but on the street it's used as a recreational drug, so I guess it's pretty sought after because it's hard to get.
Wow.
Elevator guy back on the phone to his mate.
Dude, she has tramadol.
Do you work here?
Yes, I'm a receptionist. Girlfriend laughed awkwardly and elevator guy had the look of pure horror on his face. We got to the floor I needed and I left. I turned around and said, see you later. I have never seen anyone look so mortified in my life. I told my manager and colleagues what happened and we all laughed. I checked to see what room they were staying in and told my boss I would keep an eye on them. We generally don't have a problem with what goes on in our hotel rooms provided the guests aren't causing disruption or damage to the hotel. They went to their room and didn't leave till morning. They were polite enough guests and didn't cause any issues, so we didn't have a problem. I just thought the whole thing was pretty funny, especially because I look so different and professional when wearing my uniform.
Wow.
Damn, bro, the party people thought you were cool, so that's when you know you've made it. Or when you've hit rock bottom, depending on your perspective. I'm kidding. I'm sure you're a cool cat, because you did share a cool story, and you sound pretty cool. Tattoos are cool. Alright, this story's called From Customer to Staff, All in a Day. The response to my earlier post have been so encouraging that I'm tempted to post another anecdote from the time I jumped to the other side of the counter. Background. I was between jobs for some time, and a friend suggested that I help him out in his shop till the time I find a job. He owned a toy shop, and also he even did management for children's birthday parties. To be fair, he only expected me to handle the event management part of it, mainly speaking to customers, understanding their ideas, and then designing a package for them that met their budget. I worked with him for a year or so, and managed not only the event management part of it, but on days of heavy rush, I would also work as one of the salespersons to take the load off of the sales team. When I used to work there, we had a device system whereby people who made bulk purchases or booked birthday events with us would be given special discounts on their purchases. We would manually make a note of their purchases, work out the discounted amount on certain big ticket items, and manually enter the pricing while scanning them for billing. This was slightly time consuming, but it ensured customer loyalty. The incident. This was a couple of years after I had stopped working at this place. This was a couple of weeks before Christmas. I had gone to the shop to pick up gifts for my nephews and nieces. When I was done shopping, I saw there was a huge rush at the billing counter, and the person manning the counter was totally swamped. There was no one taking care of our regular customers, and they were waiting in line with the rest. I spoke to my friend and offered to help just this one time. I set up a second counter and asked one of the salespersons to direct the big customers to me. While I was shopping, a couple of Karens had been shadowing me, and one of them even snatched a dollhouse I wanted to buy for my niece just as I was reaching for it. When I went behind the counter to help with the billing, the look on their faces was priceless. I love not working somewhere or anything like that, but just like knowing the owner of a place and just being able to casually walk behind the counter, go to the employees only areas, because that's how you feel badass. Going places where other people aren't allowed, unless it's racism. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.